Boom. I left everything on all night. Is that true? Yeah. Anyway, what's up, guys? It's 9:01. I'm sorry. I'm late. I'm actually late. People say Hake is late when I was not. In the world. What's up, everybody? It is 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific. Daylight time here in Los Angeles. And we're going to have a loosey-goosey The Hake Report here. The lines are filling up. There's one line open, 1-888-775-3773. Great show with Jesse Lee just earlier today. Shout out to Jesse, his producer, his board operator, making the magic happen, if you will. So here, let me see if I can play something while I get stuff prepared here. Is that okay with you? Let's do this one.
This one goes out to Hake.
Thank you.
If you can't see what's wrong, then you won't understand this song. The world is upside down and we're living like clowns, waiting for the end to come.
Shout out.
I could have done it better yesterday.
Yup.
And now I'm gonna have to pay. I'm living in sin, I'm looking within. Hell is in the place I'm in.
Adriana.
God is always on your side.
Yeah, I'm live.
If you let go of your ego and your pride.
Punchy.
The moment is here and all will be clear. Be present and be guided by the light. Silence brings clarity.
Do you like this? I do.
Revelation is what you'll see. The truth is in you, you'll know what to do. Stand up and love what's right. Yeah.
She's not black. She's black adjacent, maybe you could say. Shout out to, thank you, Adriana. That's fun. And I should be live on all my other platforms as well, guys. I'm live on, looks like I'm live on Kick, punchy.tv / The Hake Report. No, punchy.tv / Hake. Hake got the ladies writing about him. Does she have social media with her music or something? Yeah, I mean, she's on SoundCloud, but that particular song is not on SoundCloud. Bixinha Forte. Bixinha, I think. Forte. What's that? B-A-I. Oh, yeah, thanks. B-A-I-X-I-N-H-A. Bixinha. I could be totally butchering it because that's Portuguese, right? Forte. Strong shorty, right? Is that what that means? Yeah. Because it's like Baja, but it's, yeah. Strong shorty. So check. No. It's sort of like a, the Brazilians and all them people. All those people. I'm not black. So right on. Neo Soul, Hake, LOL. Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, she's kind of, all those Central and South Americans, they're close with their pagan roots, even though they're Christian. Nice. Anyway, so yeah, you can find her on SoundCloud. She's a SoundCloud rapper / singer. Yeah, she's the one who does the ego. You've got to let it go. Whoa. Yeah, that's right. That's right. You got it. You got it right, Aaron G. Thank you for your super chats over on Jesse Lee, by the way. B-A-I-X-I-N-H-A Forte. Forte is like fuerte, which means strong in Spanish, or fort in English is a strong fort or house thing. We're having a loosey-goosey, like I mentioned. the Hake Report show, I will get to your calls. Oh, yeah. Somebody disavows the disclaimer. I would like to let you guys know. I didn't put it in there. The views expressed on this show do not represent those of Bond, Jesse Lee Peterson, obviously, the network. I represent me, and I don't even really represent me. I may misrepresent myself. So it doesn't represent even the host or the platform on which you watch, Pilled.net. Shout out. I heard that Pilled.net is veteran owned, run, created. Shout out to them. YouTube, Rumble, TalkStream Live, Listen Line. Go to thehakereport.com. Except for the views of Mark, they do represent the Hake Report, says Carver. I disavow that, man. No endorsement nor opposition implied about my callers, the listeners, the chat, the snake pit, I call it, the comments, the Hake himself, the singers, because all singers are liberal. And so this show is for general information and entertainment. Everything you hear here, and see here, you should take it with a grain of salt. It's a good policy, honestly, for your whole life. So shout out to the lawyers / mostly liars. Let God be true and every man a liar, not just the lawyers. It's not just the lawyers who are liars. And not all lawyers are liars, actually. Jesus himself is like a lawyer. He's an advocate. Jesus Christ, and he didn't lie. Right? Jesus is not a liar. He's the only man who was not a liar. And he's a lawyer for us. Something like that, right? That's what I heard. We have an advocate with the Father, the man. We're at the top of the notch over on Mount Baldy, guys. There's some news I'd like to touch on. Yes, this was filmed before a live studio audience. You guys are the live audience, and you're not in the studio, but you're in maybe your studio apartments or studio homes which you bought. Whatever, guys. I think I'm pretty well set to get on with this thing. And you may hear me talking in the background of my video in which I'm over which I'm talking. But anyway, guys, as we go forward,
it's closed right now.
Disavowal.
I tried snowboarding for the first time.
Let's just get right on with the. Hopefully this starts smoothly. Show!
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hang on!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I have my The Hake Report t-shirt on. Hope you like it. Even if you don't, that's fine. And I have my Hake Report sticker right here. And the Hake golden microphone. I got one after a mere several years of hosting Hake. What's up, guys? I'm gonna sing you a ditty. A hymn ditty. Shout out to John. Yeah, and so thehakereport.com if you'd like to check out the link, the t-shirt link, the shop link, hake.printify.me. Thank you guys if you'd like to. It's no longer Teespring. We ditched Teespring because They're a little too slow for us. Discrimination against the slow. But shout out to Teespring. I pray for them. If they even exist still. You know, I'd like to get to Ronnie in Ohio, who's on the line over here. Ronnie, thank you for calling. And Holden, man, what's up?
My brother Hake, how you doing today?
Doing well. How are you?
All is well.
Nice.
Hayden brought up a question on yesterday's show about neighbors.
Yeah.
I wanted to address that.
Cool.
Yep. So he posed a question: would you rather live next to a black nationalist or a white nationalist?
Right.
I'm not sure why your answer isn't the same as mine. I think you said the white nationalist, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
How did you not say neither?
Because it was an either or, and so I didn't really think of neither. And it wasn't so, I wouldn't really mind necessarily living next to either one necessarily. So it wasn't something that's so outrageous that I don't want to live next to either one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I understand. I look at that part differently. That's a question where I'm like, nah, I'm cool on living next to either one of those types of people.
It depends on the person, doesn't it? Because somebody could be a nationalist and not a troublemaker. Because some of those guys they want to stir up some trouble. They want a revolution, or they want to be an activist and a loud mouth or whatever. And then others just have their opinion on how things should be, and they vote as such, but they go about it in a more orderly way.
Yeah, I guess I was assuming that it was the extreme version of it, not so much a mild or a moderate nationalist.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't want to live next door to either one, whether they wear their heart on their sleeves or they do it in a more subtle way. I wouldn't want to live next to somebody that's caught up in that race war.
Do you see them as worse than the rest of us? In terms of like how they behave?
Yes, people that say that they're team white or they're team black or whatever pigmentation of their skin color is, they're caught up in something to me that I would say is worldly, and their behavior is going to reflect their obsession with being white or with being black.
Yeah, people get caught up in all kinds of different things, right? They get caught up in the notion of love, marriage, and stuff like that. Or they get caught up in the notion of fake love, like LGBT and supporting all kinds of this or that. Some people are really into politics. And I think it's best not to be too into anything.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly.
Nice.
Yeah, with that stuff that's worldly, we're not supposed to.
So, but what if we forced you? You had to pick one. You couldn't pick neither. What if we forced you?
I would love to see somebody try to force me.
No, but let's say that Trump, not that Trump would do this, but let's pretend, because we pretend here, you and I pretend. I talked about you actually on the Punchy taping. We did a Punchy taping yesterday, so you should check it. You should check out maybe towards the end of the Punchy TV episode coming up next week. But
we'll do.
Let's pretend Trump were a radical and he wanted to force everybody to love everybody, and so his way of forcing everybody to love everybody is he forces normal guys like Ronnie in Ohio to live next to. Maybe he forces somebody to move in, and you get to pick your neighbor, okay? You don't have to move, okay? Because he's not that big of a tyrant, Trump. He's a reasonable dictator. And so he says, Ronnie, I'm forcing you to live next to either a white nationalist or a black nationalist, who would you pick? Which would you pick? And you didn't get any other say so. So it could be sort of a radical one who's a troublemaker, or it could be a relatively calm one. But they're both on the same level in terms of their radicalism. One's radicalism for white is equal to the radicalism for the black, let's say. Which would you pick?
And this is one hell of a pretend.
I know.
I'm supposed to pretend that Trump is a dictator. It
Yeah.
sounds like you're making me live in Mark's world. Trump's a dictator, and I'm either going to have to live next to a black nationalist who will most likely want to start a war or keep the race war going, or I got to live next to a white nationalist who's going to want to keep the race war going.
That's right.
In this scenario, I would just move to Montana until Mark found me and came and kicked me out.
Yeah, you'd be
in which place, and then I would probably try to move to Poland, since he said Poland was such a beautiful place.
Nice. So that sounds like you love the whites then.
I do.
Nice.
I know you've asked me that. Jesse's asked me that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love white people. I love black people. I just think that people who claim to be team white, like Hayden did yesterday, or people that claim to be team black, I think that's idiotic.
Let's make
Not necessarily that they are idiots, but
Yeah.
I think it's idiotic and stupid to say I'm white, so I'm better than you, or I'm black, so I'm better than you.
Let's make it personal now. Let's pretend Trump forced the house under your name to have a next door neighbor that's either Mark from Los Angeles or John from Kentucky, the black Hebrew Israelite, and Mark from Los Angeles being a white nationalist. Those are real life examples. Which would you pick?
Can I get both? Can I have one on the right, one on the left?
Yeah, no, you can only have one. You have to discriminate.
If I could only have one, I would choose Mark.
Okay, interesting. And do you have a
I would
reason
choose
why?
Mark. I would see if he would be open to joining our backyards and kind of building like a platform for an audience, and then we could just sit out there every night for an hour, talk, scream at each other if that's what he wants to do. Or I think it could be lucrative, and I think it would be a good way for other people to learn, just because of the perspective that he brings and the one that I bring.
So I pick Mark, says Ronnie in Ohio.
Yeah, if I had to choose between those two, John and I, we would probably get along a lot more on those things, so it would be a lot more boring.
Right.
But yeah, having Mark as a neighbor, that would be interesting, and I would, like I said, I would try to see if it would be a way where he would want to help bring up the value of the neighborhood.
So you don't agree with me
draw
that
out crowds and keep the conversations going.
But John being black is entertaining naturally, and you being black I say blacks are entertaining. So you think that it would be boring with John? I don't know, not necessarily. But nice. I appreciate your answer.
Yeah, it would be more like watching Fox News, where we just in agreement on the people that disagree with us are the idiots and the enemies. It wouldn't be any back and forth where people could learn something.
Yeah, right on.
That's what I mean.
Well, shout out, Ronnie. I really appreciate you engaging with the question, and I quite thoroughly. And shout out to Hayden in Texas for the interesting question, man. Nice.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Well, in the words of Jeff, I ain't gonna hold you up, man. I'll let you get to them other callers.
Nice. Take care. Bye.
Take care.
And CJ in Washington, I have to break the habit of saying CJ in Texas. I had a caller named CJ in Texas. What's up, CJ in Washington? Are you there?
Hey, hello.
Hey.
Can you hear me all right?
I can.
Awesome. So I did about 5 to 10 minutes worth of research.
That's brutal, man.
I just wanted to run this by you here. So I want to read you a couple things. One is Title 18 USC. Whenever under color of any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom willfully subjects any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, or possession, district to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured or protected under the constitutions of the United States shall be fined under this title or imprisoned. All right? Now I'm going to read you Minnesota murder, third degree. Whoever without intent to affect the death of any person causes the death of another by perpetrating an act eminently dangerous to others and evincing a depraved mind without regard for human life, is guilty of murder in the third degree. It may be sentenced to imprisonment not more than 25 years.
Oh, so that's why
Did those two laws sound remotely similar or using the same language?
No, they didn't sound similar. They didn't sound like the same thing.
Yeah, that's probably why 99.999% of every attorney in America would agree that that's not double jeopardy. But it's very awesome that we have it's kind of like flat earth mentality. Like, I don't care. Every single expert's wrong. I'm right. So Mark is correct. Every single attorney in America is wrong.
Nice.
But we have Mark there with his constitutional legal scholarship. Now, that one was easy.
Right.
Now we have the medical report, the death certificate, which was easily found online.
Wait.
We'll just start off with this.
Yeah, okay, cool. Nice.
Yeah, death certificate for George Floyd, because obviously I don't understand how you can get charged with murder when the death certificate says he died from a fentanyl overdose.
Okay.
Well, that almost never appears on any death certificate. Usually your cause of death is heart and lung failure. Maybe that's caused by it. So just by the way he worded it, I knew he hadn't looked up anything. So let's take a look at this. Case title, Cardiopulmonary Arrest, Complicating Law Enforcement, Subdual, Restraint, and Neck Compression. That's what it's called. No use of the word fentanyl in there, just law enforcement stuff. Final diagnosis, 46-year-old man who became unresponsive while being restrained by law enforcement officers. He received emergency medical care in the field and subsequently in the Hennepin Healthcare Emergency Department, but cannot be resuscitated. Did you hear anywhere in there that this man died from a fentanyl overdose?
No, it doesn't say that.
No, it doesn't say that.
Yeah.
And it was so easy to find. It took like 10 seconds to put that into the keyboard and hit enter on Google and pull it up. Like 10 seconds.
That's interesting.
I spent less time researching this than Mark's been blow-baiting about how all this stuff is true. Now, Mark's third comment, that the jury was ready to acquit until all the rioting and stuff happened and intimidated them into giving a guilty verdict. Now, the jury's ready to acquit. That means all 12 members are ready to find Derek Chauvin not guilty. All of them.
Is that what the acquittal means? Otherwise, it's a hung jury or something?
Yeah, it's a mistrial. Hung jury.
Okay.
So then all 12 members of this jury changed their mind unanimously and decided to find him guilty. Now, not one jury member ever has said that they were ever considering acquitting Derek Chauvin, let alone all 12. And if all 12 changed their mind, and not one of them has ever come forth and said, we were all going to acquit, but the rioting happened, so we got scared and we didn't. Said nobody ever. Said nobody ever. What happened was Derek Chauvin's attorneys made an argument that they couldn't get a fair trial in that county.
Yeah.
Or where they were because of all the publicity. That's totally different than saying the jury was going to acquit. Like, zero evidence that the jury, that of any jury member's thoughts on the case at all. So another just wholly fabricated out of whole cloth misinformation, disinformation, lazy, low IQ, passing along disinformation. And I think this is why I call, Mark's like the legal flat earther, because what he does is he gets this idea in his head, and then he looks for any evidence to support his idea that he already wants to have. So when he finds the evidence, he doesn't like vet it. I heard this on the internet, must be true. Oh, I heard this on the internet. It's what I want to believe, so it must be true. So I just want to point out again, every single thing that came out of Mark's mouth last Friday, all of his facts
about
on the Derek Chauvin case, every single one was wrong. Absolutely wrong. Not a little wrong, not splitting hairs, absolutely categorically false and wrong. That's it. Maybe, and then when you point out that he's wrong about stuff, it's immediate flat earth. Oh, I don't care about that. It's not important. All the facts that I thought were important enough to mention, well, they're actually not important. I was just talking about stuff that doesn't matter. Or let's change the subject. But Mark, let's just talk about how every single thing that you relied on to make your case, all of it's wrong. Anyway.
What an interesting case. It definitely riled the masses to where a whole lot of people are being unreasonable.
Well, now the feds could have gone for the death penalty on Chauvin, right? If they were trying to like screw him over.
Uh-huh.
Right? They would have gone with the death penalty.
How could they have gone for the death penalty?
Because that federal statute is punishable by death if the person dies.
Oh, so it was like if it had been like that, would that have been closer to like a double jeopardy thing?
Nope.
It's just that I don't like the federal government.
That's just an enhancement on the first one, and it doesn't really matter if we like the laws or not.
Yeah.
That's
right.
That's irrelevant. We're just talking about what the laws are.
Yeah.
Now, if the feds were trying to railroad him, they could have gone for life. They could have gone for death penalty. Instead, they went for the exact same years that he was already going to serve in state prison. Wow, what a railroading!
Which means means it served concurrent. Means I don't know what concurrent means, but which means it doesn't tack on extra things. It's just the same.
Yeah.
Same sentence.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. So
no punishment at all. Like if the feds were like, oh, we're going to go get him, but we're going to give him even less time than he's already sentenced in state court. It's just like that would not be the federal government trying to like be harsh on him. That would be like the federal government just doing him a favor. Right.
Like you mentioned about the state prison thing. The dangers of the state prison.
If they wanted to pile it on, they would have said this. You're sentenced to life in prison, and you're going to go serve 22 years in state prison, and then you're going to spend the rest of your days in federal prison. And that's not what they did at all. They said, you won't have to spend almost any time in state prison. You get to spend it in federal prison.
Do you personally disagree with the verdict of either with the verdict and or the his admission? Because he admitted to one of them. He admitted to the federal charges, right? He pleaded guilty or pled guilty or whatever. Do you disagree with, how about the state verdict? Do you disagree with the state verdict when the jury arrived?
Not really. I mean, he had a duty to perform CPR. And now you've got, there's just so many spurgs out there that are like, it was proper procedure to put the knee on the back.
Right.
It is to subdue somebody.
Yeah.
It's not always proper procedure to put a knee on the back. Just because they taught you how to do it doesn't mean it's always applicable, especially when the guy's face down, handcuffed, and hasn't been moving for 3 minutes. It's like you don't put a knee on somebody's back, especially somebody that... So the other officers standing around were telling the crowd, this is what a drug overdose looks like.
Uh-huh. That's what they were saying?
Did you know that they were
one of them.
that?
I vaguely recall perhaps something said like that. The Asian
so
dude, when the black dude was like, you're a bum. You guys are bums. Something like that. Don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah.
That's what the Asian cop said. Oh, man.
So when somebody's... so first of all, people say there's a lethal dose of fentanyl in the system. There's no real, lethal dose. They just look at dead people and find out how much fentanyl's in their system and try to find it out.
Yeah, if he'd been taking a whole bunch, he could have built up an immunity.
Yeah, well,
right?
they'd never taken genetic twins in a control trial and just fed them fentanyl until one of them died, right?
True.
They don't do that. And so his level of fentanyl in his body was 11 nanograms, and they used 10 to 20 nanograms for anesthesia
Whoa.
to, like, knock you out. So he was on the very, very small end
But I had heard a
the
rumor
anesthesia
that he
level.
took enough to kill 10 men or something like that. Maybe not. I thought I heard a rumor that there was enough to kill him, allegedly, according to.
Oh, well,
some
hey, you know
opinions.
what? Let's get rid of all of my. Well, I mean, I'll read it to you right here, man.
Was it the China virus? Because he had the China virus too, and heart and blood pressure, or something like that.
All right.
Do you have diabetes?
So, the estimated lethal dose of fentanyl in humans is 2 milligrams.
And how much did he have?
He had 11 nanograms.
Oh man.
Now, 7 nanograms per milliliter have been associated with fatalities where polysubstance use was involved, and he did have polysubstance use. But,
Yeah. So it could or could not have killed him. Maybe.
Well, here's the thing, right? Everybody's talking about his knee cut off his airway and made it so it couldn't breathe because it was like it wasn't like directly above the windpipe. It was like back on his shoulder blades.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, are your lungs in your throat or are your lungs and heart behind your shoulder blades?
Yeah, that would cause some restriction. And especially being on your stomach is kind of difficult to breathe.
Yeah, and so if you're having a drug reaction, it's making it difficult for you to breathe because it's shutting down your ability to control the muscles.
Right.
And then somebody lays you down on your chest and puts a knee with pressure downward on your lungs for 9 minutes. You're an idiot to do that to somebody. You're an idiot. Like, you know, it's your life, dude. But I think if I had somebody handcuffed face down in a drug overdose admitted by my colleagues at the time there, and I was required to perform CPR on somebody that went unresponsive.
Yeah.
Dude, you got to be as dumb as Mark to do that. Anyway.
Did you see the video where he said he jumped all the way through, kind of crawled all the way through from one side, the sidewalk side of the SUV, and he tried to get out the other side, and he said, let me on the ground?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your...
I don't have a point. I just wanted to make sure that was
You wanted
there.
to see what YouTube videos I've been watching?
Yeah. Did you have any feelings about it when you were watching the video? I assume you watched. Did you watch the video?
Yeah.
Did you have any
I watched
feelings?
the whole one from him starting in his own vehicle and getting out and clearly resisting arrest.
Yeah.
But when you resist arrest, it doesn't last forever, right?
True.
You can't just say, well, you resisted arrest, so, you know, at some point the resistance ends, and you got to adjust for that. Like I said, and as far as its policy to put a knee on somebody's back, so you'll notice that in the federal statute it says, under color of any statute, law, rule, regulation, custom, right? Color of law means that you're using a statute, rule, law, custom, anything, and it offers you zero protection against this federal charge because you can't have illegal laws. Those are color of law. And anybody who is using an illegal custom or police policy has no protection from that. Maybe you don't like the way the law is, but that's the way the law reads, right? You have no protection from saying, well, this is a policy.
Wow.
My policy is we have this policy that it's okay to just shoot black people. That doesn't make it okay.
Oh, so
right?
so like a policy. Let's say is it a policy or a law that he has to give CPR?
Law.
That's law. Freaking laws. Sorry, kids. Don't say freaking. Interesting, man.
But CPR is so easy to do.
It says you.
They don't even require you to do mouth-to-mouth anymore.
Nice.
Unless you have the bag. And they don't even do mouth-to-mouth anymore. It's just chest compressions until the EMTs get there.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, not chest compressions like flip you on your stomach and compress your cavity with my knee for 9 minutes. No, not that kind of chest compression.
Right.
Which is what you got. I'm just saying, I mean, again, I'm kind of, I'm glad George Floyd is dead. I think he's just
Rest in
horrible,
peace.
horrible human being.
I'm not
But
glad.
Derek Chauvin's a stupid idiot.
Shut
And,
up.
I don't know. I'll just call in like once a week with the, every single thing Mark says is wrong. It'll be great.
Well, thank you, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, because
I'm not happy
if there's
about
one
either
thing-
situation. I'm not happy Floyd is gone, and I'm not happy Derek is in jail. I think I think it was. I don't think it was a fair assessment.
Yeah.
I get that it's
Well,
these debatable points are what the communists love to use to push their thing.
What debatable point?
Like his trial was debatable. That's why they had a trial about it. I think.
Right, the debate on whether he
did
to the dude's death or not.
whether he should be convicted of murder for failure to perform CPR. Third-degree murder for failure to perform CPR. I don't think that's fair. I think that's a suspension
third degree
with pay.
He got third-degree murder for kneeling on his back and preventing him from breathing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you can't just put your knee on somebody's back that's unresponsive and say, well, I'm allowed to do this when somebody's unconscious and resisting arrest and fighting, so I should be able to do it to an almost corpse.
Apparently not.
I mean, you could debate it if you want to, I mean, it's really not debatable. That's why the jury found him guilty, and they were never going to not find him guilty. Like, all of this stuff that's on the internet, it's all just garbage, right? That's just not the truth.
But the truth is, there was a political motivation for finding this guy guilty and of murder, and there was a political motivation for the people who went after him to be in the court every day, like that degenerate guy Keith Ellison. That's not debatable.
If that's true that there was a political motivation, then that totally excuses passing on misinformation about the death certificate. That excuses passing on misinformation about it being double jeopardy.
Obviously
not. That excuses misinformation. Oh, right. It doesn't excuse every single thing you being wrong about. Now, here's so I obviously go do the research, look up the facts of the case, form my opinion based upon the facts that I find, and then come to my conclusion about it. Mark comes to a conclusion and then looks for anything, no matter how voracious or unveracious.
Yeah, I got you. I heard you the first few times already, man. But thank you for your call, CJ.
Yeah, but what we need more people like Mark on juries and less people like me.
Yes.
That's what we need.
I would love it.
Yeah. Yeah, more morons.
We need both.
All right, take care.
Thank you, man.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, nice. Nice. Ryan in Illinois is on the line over here. Ryan, thank you for calling and holding, man. How you doing?
I'm all right. What's going on with you, Hake?
Not much. You sound like you're on a speakerphone.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Sort of. Stay close to your phone.
All right. Look, I just want to thank your last caller for proving me correct because I was right. Chauvin ain't never getting out. He should have gave that man some help after he
how do you know
choked him
he's
out.
not never getting out? You sound like the opposite end of Mark. He's getting out in 25 years or so, or 35 or whatever years.
No, he got 22 years.
That's not long. That's not.
He got 22 years for state charges, and then he got federal charges that he got to do. So he ain't never
it's the same thing. I think you served one, you served them both. Correct me if I'm wrong,
they
CJ.
running them concurrently then. Okay. Well, maybe he will get out if he don't die. He might get out if he don't die.
Do you pray for him?
But look, Yeah, I prayed for him last night that he don't get stabbed in the eye, so it could be an open casket if he do.
Yeah, you're terrible.
But
I disavow
but
that.
anyway,
You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to be be so explicit in front of my children audience.
Sorry, kids. But let me get off that because that's not important anymore.
Please.
So again, did you see the Jew go crazy on a white man?
Never.
Dave?
I have never seen any Jew ever go crazy on a white man.
Well,
except for those ones who went crazy on Jesus.
You
but I didn't
look up
witness
that video because it shows how the Jews be handling y'all white boys.
Oh,
it's so glorious to watch because y'all really think y'all got a problem with us. I think that's what Mark's problem is too. He hates black people, but I don't think no black really ever did anything to him. He reminds me of one of those old white men that just don't die and they wish everything was still racist again. That's what he is. But I don't think he's ever had nothing really done to him by a black person.
Because he's smart enough he's smart enough because racism saves lives. He's smart enough to stay away from you guys.
That's not true. Anyway,
how do you know? You just made up something about his life that you have no idea.
But I mean, if you pretty much look at how miserable he is when he called, I'm sure you can pretty much sum it up. He probably watches TV all day with the same old white drawers he had on all week.
I gotta go.
You know what
I gotta
mean?
go.
Hold on.
No.
Let me ask you one more question.
Real fast.
If the whites left and the Jews stayed, the world will survive according to ChatGPT. You know that, right?
You can't trust AI?
Yeah, and then another one. Blacks are a great people. Mark said, name one civilization that we ran and we were successful. Don't forget about ancient Egypt, Kemet. Those are blacks. The Nubia, Kingdom of Kush. Those are blacks.
How do you know?
The Mali Empire. Those are blacks. The Songhai Empire. Those are blacks. The Great Zimbabwe. Those are blacks.
Zimbabwe?
The Carthage.
Zimbabwe is not civilized, man.
Come on, man.
Yes,
all
I'm
those
here.
that I just named were successful black-ran civilizations.
And so none of them are alive today, right? None of them are.
If Mark wants some other history, all he got to do is ask. But he should read. As old as he is,
well, he gave me stuff to read that I don't read, that I haven't read yet. Maybe. Well, I don't dox whether I've read it or not.
He should know more truth than the lies that he spread. Just like you.
Back at you.
Y'all be spreading all this hate about blacks.
How are you
but
different
y'all don't
from
never
him?
want to give us the credit. Y'all don't want to give us the credit.
I give you lots of credit.
There wouldn't be no iron melting if it wasn't for black folks. We wouldn't even know how to melt the iron.
Then how come you guys are so? How come you guys are iron?
There would be no traffic lights.
How come you guys are?
There would be no traffic lights without blacks.
That's not true. How come you guys are iron deficient? If you guys made all the iron, you donated it from your blood to give it to us?
Nah, man, that's not.
Sorry,
it,
that's not right.
That's a fact.
Oh, okay.
Black folks also does great contributions to the medicine in modern day.
Yeah.
We make sure that mathematics and architects was advanced. Yes, that's us.
Shout out.
Fiber optic innovations. That's us. So
fiber optics.
Before y'all start talking bad, yes, Dr. Thomas.
I don't talk about this type of thing. It's not my bag.
It don't matter. But before you start letting your people talk bad about the blacks, y'all should do some research.
My people
without us, you'll be nothing. And without you guys, we would survive.
Oh.
Just to answer that question.
Okay.
We don't need the white man, but the Jews can stay. But I just want to give y'all some little history about the blacks. We are more needed than you guys. Our culture is more used than y'all's. Without us,
how about our civilization
in this country? Without us,
how about our civilization? Is our civilization more used than yours?
I'm telling you, without us in this civilization, survival would be 0%.
And who are my people?
the whites that's racist against blacks. You and Mark, like y'all related or something. I think that might be your cousin or something, your grandpa.
I know, but I can.
Y'all got the same hate for blacks.
But Ronnie is just as much my people as Ronnie in Ohio, the black dude.
Well, see,
he's just
I'm
as
like
much
Ronnie,
my people as Mark. Maybe not just as much.
Ronnie got a head on his shoulders.
JLP's my people.
Is stupid.
JLP's my
Racism
people.
is stupid.
Joel Friday's my people. Anchor Baby's my people. Those are my people.
I'm glad you put it that way.
The kingdom of heaven is diverse, just as your kingdom of Satan is diverse. It's just yours is more crowded.
I don't got no kingdom of Satan.
Yeah, huh?
My kingdom is full of love. You know what I mean? I love all y'all too. I just want y'all to
think love
is we are needed.
We're not gonna get it there. We're not gonna.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We love the whites, but y'all be acting like we the problem. Y'all are the problem. It's not blacks. Y'all got an issue with the system that y'all put.
How about
it's coming back to bite y'all in the ass?
Whoa! How about the evil hearts are the problem of the people, of each person?
There's evil hearts in everybody. Hey?
Yeah.
Everybody
how are whites the problem, but the blacks are not?
Though.
So how do you figure whites are the problem, but blacks and Jews are not?
But I'm telling you, why y'all keep on singling out the blacks? Like y'all don't got people
only
doing crazy
for the things that the blacks do.
Come on, man. Well, y'all do way worse. Come on, man. Y'all blow up buildings.
Yeah, we deal with that too.
Attacks.
We deal with that too.
Man.
I know
y'all
we do
not deal with nothing.
I was just talking about this on Punchy TV. Make sure you catch Punchy TV on Monday. We were talking about how the white terrorists, they aim high, and the Arab terrorists,
God, they aim high. Look at you.
And then your terrorists attack like cops and plebs. That doesn't aim high. Not that I disavow all terrorism, of course, but I just noticed that, it's just a same evil spirit, but different talents. Huh?
The term white devil fits you well.
Thanks.
You are white and you're a devil.
Yeah,
you know that, right?
I don't disagree.
You don't disagree. Well, look, that's all I wanted to give you is some history, and I wanted Mark to learn a couple of fun facts that he should have known being so old.
The stoplights and fiber optics.
Way more than that. Come on, you ain't heard nothing I said. Come on, man.
I know. I heard three things.
Black civilization would survive.
You're hammering. You're not supposed to be working on the phone with Hake.
I ain't working.
Okay.
But I just want to tell you some truth. Do you agree that black folks are good people and you love the blacks? Admit that.
Yeah, I do. They're good. They're good people. Not that exists. And I love the blacks if I love anybody.
So you should be like Ronnie, man, and stop having all that hate in your heart. Because there's some good whites, there's some good blacks, there's some bad ones on both sides too.
I agree with Ronnie. I would pick Mark to be my neighbor rather than John from Kentucky. Although I do appreciate John in Kentucky. Would you rather live next to a white nationalist or a black nationalist?
I would. I mean, to me, it don't matter because the person that I am, I'll get along with both of them.
Nice.
I'll have Mark over eating barbecue ribs. Why he hates blacks so much.
That's cool.
If I was his neighbor, he'd probably end up dating black women.
Well, I disavow that. He would never do that. I don't think. He has his principles.
I think he would.
It's good hearing with you, man.
He needs some black loving. He needs some soul food in his life. It'll open his eyes up.
I'm sure he has had it.
So, you think he's had it? That man probably ain't seen a black cookout in nothing but a TV show.
Well, it's good hearing from you, man. Make sure you got to make a better effort to keep things clean and PG rather than PG-13 or R rated.
I ain't really said nothing bad today. What you mean? I ain't said a bad word today.
No, it's not about the words. It's about sometimes the message is too explicit or violent imagery or sexual
on, man. I'm
or whatever.
just telling you the truth. I don't think I said nothing crazy. I just told y'all the truth.
Okay, well, think about it. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
You have a good one.
You too. Nice. Hayden is on the line over here. Hayden. Oh, Hayden. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get to you. I forgot. I didn't catch that. You wanted to talk to him. What's up, man?
Oh, yeah, I didn't want to talk to him. I just wanted to say he has nothing to offer. That was so so sad and
But it was
typical for these
amusing.
people.
It was somewhat entertaining, I guess.
Yeah, well, if you want to call it that, but I mean, he is totally nothing to offer. But anyway, I wanted to his examples were terrible. This is the only reason I called in. I wanted to ask Ronnie, since he responded to my question.
Yeah.
He still hasn't responded to Mark's question. Name one black civilization that blacks built.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, because my other caller, Stephen from Maryland, mentioned India.
And Egypt, which was...
Right. In Egypt, we don't think that it was... I mean, there were some black guys there. There were some black rulers at some times, I think, and then there were others, and there was maybe even a woman at one point.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it wasn't like a fully, like... I don't think it was black, necessarily. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that was just as pathetic as Ryan's example. So, I mean, I want to hear from Ronnie, since he responded to my question yesterday. Name one civilization built by blacks throughout history that was successful, so on and so forth. I'm dying to hear it.
Yeah. And what do you think of the blacks in that they don't seem to have that civilization to their name?
Well, see, it's so interesting to me. It's because, like, to this day, they say that we stole their ideas, we stole their land,
right?
Blah 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 blah. But if that was the case, Africa would be the best place on this earth. If that was truly the case, but it's not. It's one of the most impoverished places in the world. The U.S. and all the European countries have to send so much aid to them because they're starving and they can't survive on their own. So I mean, Ryan's saying that blacks would be able to survive and whites wouldn't, which is so amusing. I was laughing literally out loud when
I know.
he said it just now.
So do you have a theory of, like, I don't know, like God's purpose for them, for the blacks on Earth? Because
on Earth,
you know how I think Rick from Hampton may have said this, that the different races tend to have different talents and abilities and things that they are better at, and some stuff that they're worse at. What's the purpose
for the blacks and non-white?
Yeah. What do you think of? Yeah. Do you have any theory of what God would have for them, or God has for them, or I don't know I don't know why I'm bringing God into it. I guess because He made us all, right?
Yeah.
So like, what's
their purpose on Earth?
What is their purpose on Earth? Since, like, is it because of why? Is it because they? Go ahead. I was gonna start to speculate. Is it because of were they made this way, or did they fall into this and they've just haven't been able to shake it? Are they in a rut, or does it matter that they haven't made the civilizations? It's not necessarily their role to make like a fancy civilization, because you can still be somewhat civilized. They have, like, tribes and things, tents and things. Nothing wrong with that necessarily for that area, like in Africa and stuff. So like, what do you think of them?
Well, I mean, so that's a really great question, actually.
Yeah.
And maybe Mark will also he'll probably contribute to it as well. But slavery has been, something like ever since the Bible. I mean, there was slavery during the Bible time.
Right.
And obviously, there were slaves during, the founding of the country and everything. And it's just, and God also promised, sin being entered into the world ever since, Adam and Eve and stuff. So to me, honestly, like my observation, they're used as a weapon, in my opinion. I'm like Jesse. I'm like Jesse because he was in one interview, and he was asked to name at least one good positive thing about the blacks. Now I'm in the same position. I can't name one positive thing about them.
Yeah.
I truly can't.
Right.
So I truly do believe they're used to destroy. They're used for destruction. They're used as a weapon.
Yeah.
To test us, noble people. Do you have one positive thing to say about them?
I mean, I talk about how they tend to be entertaining, and they have some great talents and physical abilities and stuff like that. Some individuals are able to be great, like, there's some like Clarence Thomas, JLP. I know that they might be mixed, but I don't think that that's necessarily relevant to why they're great. I think it's because of their character has made them great. Because your character can make you great, even if you're black and slow.
True.
It definitely sharpens your perception and ability to just live a great life and be of value. You can be a national treasure and still be black and slow.
Right.
So, but as far as them in general, I don't really think about people like that necessarily. I don't even think of my purpose, much less a different race's purpose or white's purpose. I just perceive the whites tend to like make your nicer communities when they're in a group, when they're in a town together, dominating the population, and the blacks don't and the Hispanics don't. I notice that, but I don't arrive at any conclusion. I don't arrive at genetics because I don't even know what the root of anything is. I don't arrive necessarily even at, I mean, I do notice that the evil spirit that dominates people, it manifests in different ways among the different people. But that's about it. I couldn't tell you.
But so is them being entertaining, and I assume like does that include like sports?
Yeah, sports, music,
singers,
being funny, being loud. Although loud gets too much sometimes. Being funny gets too much sometimes. But yes, still, I include all that.
So, does that really make us like? I mean, because that's probably all I can come up with as well. Is that really worth keeping in our country? That's all they have to offer is like sports and singing and dancing and stuff. Is that really like? And then you also have to include
if we can enforce some law and order, then I think it's worth it. And then the other thing is, if we can't enforce law and order, we don't have a choice but to let them be in our country, because we don't even have the law and order to enforce anything. So now the notion that they should be shipped back, like they should have gone back to Africa or whatever or wherever, I don't know. I think it was. Some people say it was a mistake to have slavery because it brought them here, and then they're entrenched for many generations. There's a whole lot who weren't allowed here, who were allowed later because of the immigration laws of the 60s and mess. But once people are here, and they're here, quote unquote, legally, then I don't know what the real political solution is, because you have to have enough people on board, enough people who matter in terms of what to do with the country on board with whatever we're going to do.
Right.
That's partly why Trump's hands are tied, because he doesn't have enough of the right people on board, meaning evil judges and stuff, with even the deportations of people who don't even have a right to be here.
Right.
So it's... I like that people have the freedom of speech in America, supposedly, to talk and speculate and wonder about the best solutions, for sure. I like that JLP has the freedom of speech and uses it to talk about separate.
Yeah, he's even calling for it.
Yeah, right.
Even like the evil blacks and the evil Iowas and stuff, they're even calling it for it too, the separation of the races. So why aren't we doing it? If the majority of people are screaming it, why isn't it happening? Because it is it's only getting worse. It's only going to get worse, unless something is done about this. Because I mean, no one wants this whole multiculturalism stuff.
Yeah.
The non-whites are clearly unhappy
Right.
because they feel like the system here in America is racist because they commit so much crime, they break the law. So I mean, it's like no one's happy right now. So why don't we do something about it?
But they like being unhappy. It's like women, or it's like what JLP talks about. People love their hell, but you know how women love to complain. That's how blacks are. It's kind of like how just any dark-souled person is. You kind of have a love-hate relationship with it. And what's that guy's name? What's that guy's name? Anchor Baby? Nick made the great point that it's not even that they really think whites are racist, really. They just like to use it against the whites because they have some play with it. Because they can like take money and power away from whites and
they just want to get free stuff
revenge.
out of them.
Yep. Yeah. It's just malice. It's just malice and exploitation of weakness, a weakness in the culture of this fake racism notion. Because they all know that they are worse than the white racists are.
Oh my gosh, by far.
They know that.
I would say times 10, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Yeah.
But like that Ryan guy just now, I mean, he had to make a case for his race and say that, whites need some black loving or whatever. he makes a case because he knows that he cannot survive without a white. He's talking all confident and so comfy right now because whites are in the country. But as soon as we go away, if we were to go away, then he would be starving just like the rest of his kind in Africa. He knows it. Everyone knows it. So I mean, that's why I just said. He is zeroed off or zero.
Well, it's great talking with you, Hayden. I got to rush you off because the lines are full and I have a lot of super chats to get. Fun call, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And Ronnie, please answer that question. Name one successful black civilization. That's it.
Right on, man. Take care.
Thank you, Hake.
Yep.
Have a great day.
You as well. Jeff in California, I believe, has been on hold for a bit, and then I'll get to your super chats and the rest of your calls. The lines are full. Jeff in Louisiana, Thank you.
I just see those mumbles.
Nice. Good to hear from you, man.
The last call for Hayden kind of changed my course a little bit. But
okay.
When Mark says name one country that's specifically created and run by blacks, what they're misunderstanding is he's talking about Sub-Saharan people.
Oh.
Not Egypt, not all that crap.
Right.
True black Sub-Saharan people.
What is the Sahara? Is a desert, right? And so Sub-Saharan means south of the Sahara Desert or something like that.
Yeah, Sub-Saharan.
It doesn't mean subhuman, obviously, guys.
No, it's just south of the Sahara Desert.
And so those are the.
I think it's in Egypt. I may be wrong, but they're talking about somebody further south than that. That are true blacks.
This area. Oh, okay. So that's a huge chunk of Africa. It's most of it except for the North Africa part. Interesting.
Yeah, that's what they're saying, just Sub-Saharan people.
Yeah. Because those people up in North Africa are kind of mixed with Arab and part white and everything else.
It's like the U.S. now. It's just like throwing 20 colors in a bucket of paint and just throwing them out. Because we're all mixed with everything over here now.
Say that again. I blanked and.
I said North Africa's like we're over here now, just throwing 20 colors of paint against the wall and saying figure it out.
One more time. Sorry.
I said North Africa's kind of like it is over here now, just throwing all the colors of paint against the wall and figuring out what you are.
Oh, all diverse and because I think France got up in this area. There are French. I think the French sort of colonized parts of these places, and so there's like you said, it's kind of like us, all diverse and
it's mixed up.
Yeah, true.
It's like tell everybody come to USA, and then everybody's a U.S. American citizen. No, well, hell, you're 95% Japanese and 0.2% Mexican, 0.2% Indian. No, it's like, damn, well, they just mixed it all up.
Yeah, I know.
But,
yep.
But that's what they're really talking about. Talk about that. But the dude that was complaining about talking about George Floyd, he wants to Google all this stuff. CJ.
Yeah.
Who I don't know where it's from. But he wants to Google all this stuff. There's called a double sovereignty law.
A double what?
Double sovereignty law.
Double sovereignty.
Double jeopardy does not apply in federal and state cases. They can be charged the same as that crime, word for word, in federal and state courts, and be tried on both counts.
Ah.
It's not you go back and read the case. Like, he read the whole George Floyd case. You don't have to go do all that crap.
Yeah.
It's just that in federal and state law is different. So it's two different charges, two different branches of government.
Okay.
So it's called double sovereignty.
Double sovereignty. Okay, interesting, man. Double sovereignty means double jeopardy doesn't apply.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the thing about, well, here's your required to get on CPR. The only instance you're required to get CPR is if you're a doctor. If you roll up on an accident or something like that and you're a doctor, or you cause the person to go in that position. Now, that's where they could argue that he didn't cause Ford to go in that state because Ford was overdosed on drugs.
Right. Yeah, I think he was saying he couldn't breathe even before he got on the ground, which kind of indicates that he was having this incident separate from having that. But that on top of, that's why my theory was basically what CJ told me. My theory was he was having this problem, maybe because of the drugs or whatever, and panicking and pretending like, oh, don't kill me, cops. And then he said, put me on the ground. And so he got put on the ground and had the people on top of him. And that added to the trouble and was kind of like the straw, this little skinny, little skinny Derek Chauvin was the straw that broke the camel's back.
That's what they always could argue that, and they would have won, because if he had a fentanyl system, how could you say that's not what caused them not to be able to, the CPR?
Right.
So
because under normal circumstances, he would have been fine with the knee on his shoulder blade, probably.
Because the only thing it's only certain states that have that law.
Uh-huh.
Those states have the Good Samaritan law, which only states you must call 911.
Oh, yeah.
You remember years ago, there was the last episode of Seinfeld about that, matter of fact.
I didn't see it.
They watched a guy get robbed on the street. They didn't call the cops, and they got to trial for that.
Yeah.
Had the Good Samaritan law.
Interesting. Crazy.
But man, what I really called in for was the Russia-Ukraine war.
Okay.
What I called in about I started listening to this call, and this is what got me started. We're worried about Chauvin and defending base dude. He's a loser, drug dealer, drug user, and George Floyd. And Derek Chauvin, it doesn't matter what you do, nothing's going to change. He's going to be where he's at.
Yeah, true. Totally true.
If he lives through it and gets out, he gets out.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to change that. But we got Donald Trump trying to negotiate peace with Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Zelensky goes and bombs. There's a surprise attack on Russia and destroys $70 billion of the nuclear arsenal.
Man. Oh, that was nuclear arsenal that he took out?
Yeah, that was nuclear stuff he took out.
Whoa.
$70 billion worth of it.
I mean, I heard that he, Anchor Baby, I heard on American Anchor Baby yesterday about him doing that, doing whatever he did, taking out those things, and then Putin telling Trump that Putin has to respond to that because that was just way overboard. And that was not with the blessing of the United States, apparently, I guess.
No, because Trump has to come out. Trump said, well, that's pretty badass.
Oh, like he thought that was cool or awesome? Maybe not cool, but awesome?
Yeah, that he did that.
Sorry,
guys. I was like, oh.
Really? So he thought that Zelensky, we say Zelensky, but that Ukraine was able to do that was awesome, if you will.
Yeah.
Whoa.
But then Trump posted on Truth Social said Russia's going to attack you back for this.
Right.
They win, but Russia's going to attack back for this.
Okay, so he had, according to Axios, a scoop, Trump admired Ukraine's bad A bleep attack, like what Jeff said, but worries what's next. If Putin goes crazy, he fears hell. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, that's pretty interesting, man. Yeah.
And that's what he worried about besides Chauvin and George Floyd.
Yeah, that's some like real, and none of it have we any control over, honestly. We're just talking and yapping. And
we don't have control over it, but I mean,
but it's some real stuff going on. And
if you're going to worry about something, are you going to worry about George Floyd getting kneed on and dying?
Good question.
He overdosed on drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the government do with that to help you?
Yeah. That's interesting.
If you want the government to do something to help you, go over and you just say, look, what I think Trump should do, to be honest, and I actually emailed the White House about this.
Okay.
No, I know they don't read emails, but I said, we signed a mineral deal with Ukraine to get some of our money back. That's all Trump's worried about, is getting some of our money back.
Oh, from Ukraine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I say Trump goes to Putin, says, sign the same exact mineral deal. We pull out, we quit funding, and once you take her, we get the minerals out.
Nice.
That's all needs to be done, because if Russia wants to take over, they can take over without U.S. weapons involved. That's the only reason Ukraine's able to do anything, because U.S. weapons are involved.
Oh.
So if you take our weapons out, say we pull our weapons out, pull money out.
Yep.
And then you just start the same mineral deal, and we'll pull out and start supporting them.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I'm hoping for the best, man.
And what's not a better plan what we're doing, don't it?
Say that again?
That sounds like a better plan what we've been going with, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does sound like a better plan. I mean, Trump is obviously like looking for solutions, whereas Biden was a do-nothing. He didn't even want to talk to Putin. Doesn't even make sense.
Okay, man, I know you still got calls to get to, and like I said, the calls I referred to wasn't in relation to Ronnie. Ronnie's call was good.
Yeah.
So I don't want to back off Ronnie about nothing but
cool.
But CJ after on that next black guy was just I don't know.
I know.
On, dude. I know, man. You have a good one, man.
All right, you too. Take care. Ronnie in Ohio. Shout out. And Jeff in Louisiana. I have a few super chats to get to. Make sure you do catch Joel Friday TV. Let me paste that in the chat. Joel Friday TV. It is, what type of Thursday is it, Joel? Character Breakdown Thursday on Joel Friday TV. And so the redirect is set, but you don't have to wait. You can make sure you turn on the notification on YouTube. He's on YouTube, okay? He's not on Pilled or Rumble, all right? He's not one of those guys who just chases the latest trend like Hake does, all right? But I have a few super chats. Gregatron says, sorry, I meant to say the t-shirt had I can't breathe on it, not breath. That's a little correction from yesterday's Super chat. Nice. You're right. I'd rather him wear this black dude that he saw, Gregatron saw. I'd rather him wear I'd rather he wore a shirt with a fallen Messiah, meaning Barack Obama. Or than Georgia, Florida. I'll even take NWA, Tupac, Biggie, Bob Marley, etc. shirts over Georgia, Florida. Shameful. Indeed. Everybody with wisdom disavows the notion that Georgia, Florida should be held up as a martyr, a victim for the black cause. It doesn't even make any sense whatsoever. Thank you, man. Caesar. 3 coffees. In fact, you shouldn't even have victims, period. Sup, Hake? No message, just showing support. Big smile, hands up. Tanned hands, by the way. Tanned, strong arm. Look, Hake's bicep is like bigger than the Bond sign. Impressive. An okay sign. It's an okay sign. It doesn't mean white power. It doesn't mean that. For some may think it now because they were just trolling us. Don't forget to like the video, y'all. Hey, guys. Hake voice. Lots of laughs. Nice. And there was another that I didn't read before I get to Carver. I got to read this Little Rocket Man. Happy Pride, this guy said yesterday. Shout out. I'm proud you sang in the Navy during this month. What? Oh, yeah, I joined the Navy to see the world. But what did we see? We saw the sea. We saw the Pacific. It wasn't terrific. We saw the Atlantic. It wasn't romantic. And the Indian Ocean wasn't what it's cracked up to be. Something like that. And thank you to the late, great Harvey Milk, he says. Since Sinners, the movie he's talking about, not the gays. The gays are not the only sinners, okay? Since Sinners basically got spoiled, the movie got spoiled. Somebody spoiled the movie? Really? It might make sense why I wanted you to see it specifically. You can't honestly say that you can always understand that simpleton Jeff Boomhauer. Boomhauer is I guess it's a cartoon King of the Hill or something like that reference. I never saw that, really. And John Redcorn's actor got murdered. The actor or the character? Probably meant the character, I'm guessing. He was gay bashed, basically. I mean, that's what they do in movies, but in real life, they get killed for like drugs or, some type of anger, human nature thing. I'm sure there's some who's like, thrown off the roof and stuff. I disavow it. I know your audience, sorry kids and ladies and faint of heart. I know your audience is happy to hear that, angry face, broken heart. Well, there might be some malicious ones who pretend or very cold-hearted type of humor, act like they're happy, but nobody's happy. I mean, if they're happy, it's like devilish happiness, So don't be broken-hearted about the evil in your fellow people. Anyway, Mark and CJ calling each other idiots is comedic gold. Battle of the dunce caps, says he. And you rushing people off like William Sambo Kwaun, was great. Hayden, would you say those hateful things in front of your parents or in a public forum? He definitely needs to go back to school. I mean, he follows the ideologies of Mark. James, you can't erase us. You can't erase gays. You can't erase black people, capital B, to kiss up to the blacks. Question for you and your fans. Should names be a cause for discrimination when applying for jobs? Should, yes. Is it lawful? According to the evil laws of man, of fallen nature man, I don't think it's lawful, I guess. I'm not sure. They even put the Crown Act. You can't even discriminate based on people's, I almost cussed, messed up hair. Bye, James. Broken heart. Thumbs down. Broken heart. Thumbs down. Broken heart. Number 2. Ogre. Angry face. Red. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Oh. Yes. Hake, says Carver. It's a shame to see people taking Georgia, Florida's side. Many of us knew the first day it was an OD, overdose. I disavow that for the sake of the channel in case they're going to put a Wikipedia thing. Wikipedia, George Floyd was found, Derek Chauvin was found guilty of the murder of George Floyd. Many of us knew the first day it was an OD. Base Derek did nothing wrong. The purple-haired, but I did my own research thing is black. It's so black, it's laughable. So you read the CNN article? Gee, I'm sure I told you the truth. I'm sure that told you the truth. Well, I guess if the jury convicted him, it must be true. They're never wrong. Just ask OJ. Also, Sean Grayson is a saint, says Carver. Whoa, what is so hard about acting right during a police encounter? Chin up, Kings, says Carver. So I don't know, man. You may go a little further than I. I think that the last few minutes, when I watched the video, just as a layman, I'm a layman. The laymen are faint of heart. As a faint of heart beta layman, I would say Derek Chauvin, the last 2-3 minutes on the Georgia, Florida, were questionable. And questionable means he may have done wrong. He may have done wrong. Plus knowing he's white. And then those other things that what's his name brought up. I think he had his senses better, perhaps. I don't necessarily even think it was malicious. I had a caller, Ardeen, who said he got caught up in his anger and hate and what's that thing? It's on the tip of my mind. It starts with an A, adrenaline. With that adrenaline and hate, he just got caught up and bad things happen. And I'm like, you're being hateful. But she might be right, actually. I don't know. I can't say. But to claim that he had total disregard for the guy's life, I guess. Not total, though. Just a bit of disregard because he was a concern for his own, I don't know, whatever. Anyway. Because you had those people trying to intervene. I'm an EMT, this female fireman. Let me help. No, back up, meddling woman. You a bum. He is human, bro. That black guy who was shouting at the cops. Making the situation worse for George Floyd and for the cops. I shake my head. So he did nothing wrong. He might have done a little wrong. I think CJ. And CJ is not on Georgia, Florida's side at all. He's just not. He's just against both of them. But anyway, Sean Grayson is a saint. And the woman wasn't acting right. That's true. The woman was not acting right. Was Sean Grayson a saint for shooting the woman who, was he saintly? Even in his innocently shooting the woman who allegedly threw water at him or tried to? But yes, chin up, Kings. Go through what you got to go through. Did he really swallow that bag of drugs? I don't know. That's what people speculate. They sure came down hard on him. Thank you, Carver. Appreciate it. There were a few super chats that I missed and some Rumble rants. Let me copy paste them in. Because there are a few over here. Oh, in the world. Pardon me. This is important, otherwise I wouldn't make you guys wait. Okay? It's important. So let's see here. Yeah, I had missed this one, I think. Evil is still real. Some more informative super chats from CJ. Doxed. I don't know if that's okay to do. Sorry, it's CJ. This may or may not be CJ. Evil is still real says the so-called Supreme Court made itself the supreme authority in Marbury versus Madison 5, United States. 1 Cranch, 137, 1803. Okay, so that's just an indicator of where you can dig up the information and find it, I guess. It is not in the Constitution that the courts rule over the executive, okay? It is not. It's what the Supreme Court decided in Marbury versus Madison way back in 1803. So like 25, 30 years in to the America, I guess, if 1803 is the year. Because what, 1776 to 1803, that's like oh, wait up. I don't do math. Whatever, I don't know. It's not in the Constitution that the courts rule over the executive. And I'm not sure I like the Supreme Court being able to rule over the executive because they have no say-so. They don't. I think it's I think we should violate that and have the Supreme Court overturn that. Not that they will, because it's not actually a conservative majority. But that's interesting. Evil is still real. Nice. Appreciate that info. See, it's worth having evil is still real in the super chats and the comments. Elijah yesterday stated, ever since Israel was created, the United States went downhill. That's just a coinkadink. That's just a coincidence, man. Not entirely, but I mean, because that's like World War II, and World War I, and all that. You could say the same thing about 100 years ago, honestly. We were going down, right? 100 years ago, we let the women start voting. Ever since we let women vote, we've gotten into all these wars. Was it before or after World War I that we let the women vote? I think it was after. Something like that, yeah. They were on the verge of voting. That's why we got into that war, because they were having more sway over these lame-o men. But yeah, interesting, Elijah. Interesting. Yeah, and thank you, Gregatron, Cesar. Commander Kim says, dude, it's the week of the 58th anniversary of the military attack and cover-up of the USS Liberty. Give Floyd a week off. Wow, Commander Kim, I didn't catch that. So June, 8th? Is June 8th when that thing happened? It's actually a birthday. Who cares about the USS military? I mean, Liberty. Nobody. It's just an excuse to be mad at at those aspects of the Israelis who did that back in whenever that was. You know what I mean? I say. Some people argue that and I hadn't really heard this before, because they were saying, oh, it was a mistaken thing. They repaid us like $3 million or something, right? They gave us reparations. They gave us multiple reparations for that, right? Israelis killed like 25 Americans, says Jay. Is that what you're talking about? I care, Hake, says C-Sal. Oh, I bet you do, woman. The USS Liberty. It's more like the USS Harvey Milk. Kidding around. It's not even called that. Yeah, but they speculate that Israel was trying to pull a fast one, or somebody with Israel was trying to pull a fast one. This was during this like 7-day war or something like that with like Egypt, I guess. And they pretended like, oh, they thought it was an Egyptian boat, but they were going to pretend, or maybe they didn't pretend. Maybe they really thought it was an Egyptian boat, but they were going to pretend, according to some theory, and I don't know if there's any basis for this, but they were going to pretend that it was done by Egyptians to try to pull America into war, into being on Israel's side of this 7-day war with Egypt and fight against Egypt. Kind of like people think that Israel did 9/11 so that we would go after the other Arab countries or whatever. I don't know. So I don't know if that's an assumption or if that's true. But thank you, Commander Kim. Yeah, and I'm with you, though, about the giving Georgia, Florida. Let sleeping dogs lie. Floyd could have been the best civics teaching moment. This is from Pilled. In generations. Guess we got this mess instead. Yeah, I think you're right about that, Chops. ITMC. Builders protect what they produce. Thieves steal instead of producing. Rather straightforward in my humble opinion. Nice, Chops. Evil is Still Real says Ramses the Great. Genetic remains say red hair, not nappy. A, black hair. And I'm skipping ahead just because he said the A word. So Ramses was not black. The first electric traffic signal. The first electric traffic light. Created in 1912 by Lester Wire, a policeman stationed in Salt Lake City. Wow. Was he Mormon? The black man invented the yellow light. Nice. So blacks invented wait, even if you're late. Right on. That is a black being PG. Hake, says Commander Kim. Funny. Whoa, don't say Negro. So much disinfo, it's like listening to the black version of Mark, says Evil is Still Real. Right? That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that, and whatever. Okay, double check. Elijah received a 1-month subscription from Bill West. Misty gave some lemons. Greenwall gave a couple of ice cream. Thank you guys on the D Live crew. Hopefully this closes right. For the support. Okay, that's probably enough super chats for now. I got to get to Elijah from California, who's on the line over here. I'm going to try to get to all of you guys. So I'm going to do lightning rounds with you callers, okay? What's up, Elijah from California?
Lightning round.
Yeah, I know. It's not fair, but go ahead.
Why? You gave all these callers like 20 minutes.
I know, but now I don't have
Ronnie, the white hater.
I know I don't have 20 minutes to give to the rest of you guys. I got to give you 2.
You let all these hateful blacks talk for days, and then now you're gonna try and make me have a lightning round?
It's called white guilt. It's called white guilt.
I've been on the line 20 minutes.
I know. No, there's people who've been on the hold for an hour. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna go hard.
Yeah.
I'll keep it PG like you like it. All right.
Thank you, man.
So I'm just gonna address what was his name, Ronnie. All the black callers that were talking about how blacks would survive without whites, the whites wouldn't survive without blacks.
Yeah.
It's completely the opposite, and it's funny because they like to gaslight themselves and the rest of us, and we can all see through their like low IQ nonsense, like inventing everything, inventing the street light, inventing peanut butter.
Right.
No, they invented twerking and the knockout game. That's about it.
Whoa.
Like, all these inventions have already been debunked. Like, all their inventions that they claim. The
even peanut butter? That's what I heard, actually.
Peanut butter? That's the easiest thing to make. It's peanuts. It's just peanuts. If that's your claim to fame.
George Washington Carver was still an okay guy, I think, maybe.
They're so insecure about their lack of intelligence because they know everyone's so much smarter than them. That's why they're so angry.
But they shouldn't even be concerned about it, honestly.
Inferior.
Yeah. Like, let's say I'm dumb.
Like,
it's fine.
They can run fast and jump high, but that doesn't mean you can create good civilizations, you know?
Right.
That doesn't do shit. You're
keep it clean, man. Elijah.
Sorry. You're good for entertainment. You're good for our entertainment. You're good for sports.
Yeah.
And the same goes for the Jews. They wouldn't survive without the whites. They would not be thriving without white society.
Huh.
The Jews brought the blacks over here on the slave ships, and they were 80% of the slave owners in America.
Is that true?
Yes. At the peak of slavery, 1.8% of the population owned slaves.
So they were here at our founding. Jewish people were here at our founding.
Yes. And the reason why they pushed they're here. They were sneaky though. They're able to blend in. They're able to blend in. The reason why they pushed multiculturalism is because it's easier for them to blend in.
Where do you get this that they were? I mean, I've heard that they owned slave ships, but what's so bad about that?
They were Spanish and Portuguese Jew slave owners.
Oh, was Christopher Columbus Jewish too?
Yeah.
So, like, he was so he's part white then, because it's sort of a white thing to explore.
Well, the Ashkenazi thing is a tricky thing because they are intermingled with Eastern European genetics.
Yeah.
But they don't really have a claim to say that they were like the lineage of Abraham and the Old Testament. The
Are
thing
they?
is, Israel
Are they?
was a family.
They're
When it
pretty
says blessed
successful though
Israel, they're
within.
talking about the family.
They're-
Yeah, because they have a very high tribal instinct, and they teach whites to not have that. That's the superpower. Is
But
that
whites are pretty successful too, though. Like they're both pretty successful.
They are because they're innovative. Look at Mercedes. Look at Ferrari. Look at all these top automobiles. Top engineers are Eastern Asian and Germanic and European.
Yeah.
All the top engineers, all the top minds, all the top inventions and innovators are East Asian and European, and those are also the top civilizations. The top
And that includes
civilizations
some
are
of the Jews too, right?
Because of intelligence. Jews are parasites. They
No,
only
but
are
you,
middlemen.
no, I disavow the parasite word. You're not supposed to say that on
create their
YouTube. I
own
don't think.
empires. They leech off of empires.
No,
They're
but
very
hold
good
on.
at that.
You said about
Just like
inventions.
Israel. They wouldn't have Israel without the Europeans. Am I right?
Probably.
Would they have
I
Israel
think you're right.
without Europeans?
You're right. That's
But they
true.
are very ungrateful to the white man. They want to destroy the white man with
some of them are
and
grateful.
Muslims.
Yeah.
I'm not saying all are bad. I had.
Oh yeah, no, that's true.
They
tend to be.
I'm not even lying. I had a Jewish friend growing up, and he was a welder.
Me too.
And he owned chickens. He was like a unicorn. You know, he was a very rare Jew. He did manual labor.
Yeah. See, but there's like you mentioned about.
There's good Jews. There's Valley Jews. There's decent Jews.
Some of them are
and that's the
inventive
thing.
too, though, right? Because they're part white, right? Because look at that one guy E equals MC squared or something.
Yeah, because they're blessed to be amongst the European empires that allow them to thrive with their, they have a good conniving mind,
Yeah.
They're good at coming up with schemes. Them and the Indians are the top schemers for sure in the world. But
oh,
then you
yeah.
have the Nigerian princes are maybe number 3. But
great call.
Yeah,
man.
tribal unity is very powerful.
Are you the one who gave me the diamonds?
I give you diamonds every day, all day.
Have you?
But you
have
don't
you?
wanna,
Is this your first time calling into my show?
It's my second time. I probably
Okay.
called like 3 years ago. But you
It's fun
read
hearing
certain
from you.
names, like you'll say Donald Trump and Oprah, but you won't say Big Mike or
Yeah, because I don't
Sam
want to say
Hyde.
Big
Come
Mike.
on,
That's
those-
kind of
There's nothing
vulgar.
dangerous about saying Big Mike or Sam Hyde on YouTube.
Sam
Come
Hyde,
on.
that's like promoting. And
It's 2025. Well, it's not promoting. It's just he says your name, you say their name. It's not that big of a deal.
well, you have to take that up with JLP because we have a policy of not bringing up names
What
of
names are on
people.
the list? Is it only YouTube names, or can you say Trump, but you can't say this name?
Trump is a public
Yeah.
figure who's in the news. If Sam Hyde
you
had made
can't
the
say
news,
YouTuber's
if
name?
Sam Hyde made the news for doing a mass shooting or being accused of doing the mass shooting, then we
or
could
the
mention
Ghost
him.
of Kiev,
Huh?
or the Candyman?
Yeah. Like, look, it's right here at the top of this. No,
Yeah.
I don't have time to show you, but great call, man. I gave
Yeah,
you
I know.
gave you
Hey.
two minutes.
That was a great lightning round. So I suggest get interesting callers on here. Don't let these angry blacks, go on and on about their nonsense. Like
Yeah.
you need to cut these guys off because they're delusional. They're never gonna be honest with themselves and take real criticism.
Yeah.
So they have to come up with these bullshit stories about.
Hey,
they
you know
failed
that.
because- sorry. I try to keep it PG. They come up with these BS stories about they fail because of racism.
Sorry,
they
kids.
fail because of this. No, it's low impulse control and low IQ. All right, thanks, Hake.
Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Elijah, nice. Is that a Jamaican name? I'm kidding. It's biblical. I got to get to Mark in Los Angeles. Mark, I have to shortchange you a little bit, but go ahead.
Oh, I'm used to it.
Nice.
I know you love to give the Negroes a lot of time.
It's
so
white
the
guilt.
last caller was right on.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, what does he call himself? He's evil. Is that what his
Evil
nickname
is real. Evil is
No,
still
real
real.
evil. That's what I call him, real evil.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'll make this short because I want to get on to Ryan. But first of all, Ed Martin has reviewed the case of Derek Chauvin.
Yeah.
It's case closed. The man needs to walk. He needs to get out of jail and be with whatever he's got, if he's got a family left. The jury was tainted. The attorney general was a white-hating communist.
Indeed.
And the cause of death was a drug overdose. I heard his.
Do you think that the compression on his on his torso added to it, though?
That's not what the coroner said.
No, but do you think?
That's not what the coroner
I don't
wrote.
care what the coroner said. I don't know.
Well, of course you don't, and neither does the
No,
evil
but
one.
do you think? I asked you a question, and you said that's not what the
Okay,
coroner
I'm sorry.
said.
What's the question?
Do you think that when you're having a problem from overdosing or whatever, and you get down on your stomach and somebody's on top of you, that adds to the problem of breathing?
No, I don't.
You don't think so?
He was on his shoulder. No, I don't.
Being on his shoulder,
And
that
I'll
makes
tell
it
you
even worse.
furthermore-
The
okay,
neck would have been better.
Okay, furthermore, if I'm on a jury, he would have walked, but the jury was intimidated. Bottom line, because I want to get to Ryan real quick. Bottom line, Ed Martin, who's an attorney, a U.S. attorney.
I got you on that.
has
He thinks
reviewed
Chauvin
the
should
case.
walk.
The man's innocent.
All right.
The evil one is just evil. Okay, now get to Ryan. He said a lot of nasty things about me. He's in his imagination. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's got a low IQ. He likes to talk about you all.
Not that there's anything wrong with being low IQ.
Well, yeah, but he gives an opinion, and you give him 20 minutes to talk about it. Something's wrong.
I forget who I gave 20
I know
minutes.
It's your show. Well, whatever you gave him, it was way too long. He offers nothing.
I think it was like 11.
And answer Hayden before you hang up on me. Hayden, the reason, in my view, that God put Negroes on earth was to serve us. When Woodrow Wilson was president, his father was a slave owner, and his father was a preacher, and he converted his Negro slaves into Christianity.
That's nice.
They were meant to serve us, Hayden. That's their purpose.
Interesting,
and
man.
when the low IQ guy calls back, well, there's several of them. But ask them what the purpose of them being here is. The devil, the white man?
Since
to
we're
rape our women?
Christians, should we serve them too?
Pardon me?
Should we serve them too?
Well, when we convert them to Christianity, which the slave holders did, and they weren't Jewish. The slave traders were Jewish, not the slave owners.
Okay.
I liked your last caller, but he was off on that.
Okay.
But to tell you, the honest bottom line is, they were put here to serve us, and when the Civil War happened, Satan won. They got their freedom. When we had segregation, that was a temporary stopgap to their evil. Now, since '64, in the last 60 years, it's been a disaster. And one last thing, and I promise this is it. When the evil one said that I'm wrong about everything, that should pretty much negate anything he says.
Negate.
Okay, anything he says has to be taken with a grain of salt. He's a smart punk. He's probably got purple hair and a ring nose, and he's a he hated. Wait a minute. He hated Chauvin. He hated Chauvin.
No,
and now it's well.
Well, he hates.
But I hate Floyd too. He's a phony, man.
No,
he was all in for
okay,
Floyd.
let's cut out the personal attacks. I got to run. It's great
He
talking with you,
attacked
man.
me. Thank you.
Yeah, he called you stupid, and you can call him stupid back. Okay.
Well, he's worse than that. Thank you, Hake.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
George in Fremont, California. No, Fremont, Ohio, not California. George, thanks for calling and holding, man. Go ahead.
Hake, what's up? Jeez, man, an hour for real? You're gonna give me 2 minutes, bro?
I know, it's terrible. You better get on it.
Yeah. So anyway, the question is infuriating. Like, what are black people worth and black people here to service? That's just some of the most ignorant nonsense I've ever heard.
But I was asking it sincerely. I wasn't being just like, because people point this out. Oh, low IQ. Oh, they don't really have civilizations. But what's the purpose?
It's all excuses. It's all excuses. When it comes down to it, we have the black people, I'm black, have the same problem that everyone else has. And it is an economic problem.
Economic?
It is sound money. God gave us sound money, gold and silver, to use as money. And in every civilization where they did away with that, they went to degeneracy and they collapsed. Okay? It affects all of us, whites too.
Yeah.
And black people now, it's a spectrum. You look stupid when you put Dr. Ben Carson and Denzel Washington in the same bucket as these people who call themselves YNs and all this. You just look dumb when you do that.
Fair enough. But nobody's doing that. We're just talking about on the whole.
Yeah, that's what you're doing. You're saying, oh, the problem with the blacks is that they have low IQs.
That's
God
not what I say.
Put them here to serve us, and
Yeah.
this and that. Anyway, and blacks used to be conservative. But back in the day,
maybe
post-slavery, Reconstruction, whatever, black people were conservative. They were very religious.
I mean, but the whole culture was more that way. I think that people fall into whatever culture they're in, you know? I don't think that makes anybody based just because you fell in with the more sensible culture because you were raised better,
there's
you know?
plenty of base blacks now. There's plenty of base blacks out here now. So D-Day is tomorrow.
Nice.
And
thanks for the reminder.
One of the good things, one of the things to remember about D-Day, it was that, a lot of Jewish people, participated in the invasion, all that.
And so
I believe
that's a credit to them, you're saying?
Yeah, it is. But the problem is that back then they didn't have an Israel. They had to be
scattered among
and invested.
They had to
into,
be in the different countries.
Right, exactly. They had to help. They had to help with D-Day. If that happened today, no way would that happen. No, we're all now at the mercy of Zog.
Whoa!
So
you can't say that. I'm surprised that you said that.
You're wrong
That's
about
funny.
The last caller.
Have you called in before?
About how, I've called in before, bro.
All right.
So at the height of slavery, there were more slaves in New York than there were in South Carolina.
Wow, really?
There were more slaves up north than there were in South Carolina. That's a fact. And Central Park, it used to be called like Blacktown or something. There are mass graves underneath Central Park full of black people. Okay, and when they say that Jews own the most slaves, that's where they're talking about.
Oh, up in New York.
It was some outrageous number. It was like 1 out of 3 Jewish households had slaves in New York.
Is there something wrong with that? Having slaves?
Yes, there's something wrong with that. It's pure evil, Hake.
Not always.
Anyway,
it's not pure evil. Because what if you're a just slave owner? You're just toward your slaves.
There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a just slave owner. God created us to be equal, which Dave Portnoy doesn't get.
Not on the earth.
Dave Portnoy doesn't get that. Dave Portnoy is the perfect example.
Dave Portnoy
of the mentality that is over us right now. Entitled, looks down on us.
Because he has that victim woman mindset.
It's awful.
Yeah. You're talking about David Portnoy, the guy from Barstool Sports who's overreacting because somebody said F the Jays.
He made an entire living off of selling porn and eating pizza.
Oh, really?
And he wants to sit there and look down on people.
I don't know about what you're saying, honestly.
And gambling and degeneracy.
I only know that guy from being on him appearing sometimes on Fox News on like Tucker Carlson's show or something like that, and then him overreact in Barstool Sports a little bit, I guess, some media outlet, and then him overreacting to this F the J people sign in his bar and him overreacting. But that's kind of typical. But I think it's just a victim mindset, man. Whatever. It's human nature. And he fell into his culture.
Our problem is it's not an IQ problem. It's not.
I agree. I agree with that.
It is a spiritual problem, and it's an economic problem because people don't get paid a fair wage for what they do.
Interesting, man. Well, interesting call. I'm sorry that we have to cut it short. Got to shortchange you.
All right, bro. I'll catch you later.
Great hearing from you, man. Call me again. Bye. Wow. Woo. A couple more super chats. I know. Guys. Cesar, okay, I do have something laughing with sweat. Since I was able to work by myself today, tuned into your show. Today's intro, pretty nice. Voice barely cracked until the end, LOL. Lots of laughs. Adriana, 1 N, I think. But sounds like she was influenced by Badu or Lauren. Not sure if I can name drop the artist. LOL. Oops. And that's why Ronnie is one of my faves. Really great call. Wanted to hear Mark's opinion on his backyard idea thing. Yeah. Regarding JC, Little Rocket Man, I agree with his point about the knee being used after the suspect, CJ, is subdued. That's funny. He called CJ JC. Sorry, CJ. I also agree with Derek not providing medical assistance as a police officer. Maybe he let his ego get the best of him in that moment. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. He also says, continuation, I disagree with the cause of death, though. Research suggests Georgia, Florida had arteriosclerotic, meaning heart disease, or artery, something. Crooked arteries, kind of, never mind, I don't know. Because they say multiple sclerosis, sclerotic, and then artery. Not because I was thinking scoliosis, crooked back. Indicating narrowed or hardened arteries, as noted in his autopsy report. Fentanyl kills primarily causing respiratory depression, slowing or stopping breathing due to its effect on the brain's respiratory centers. Combine those two and bam, in your face, JC. JC? Hake voice. It's funny, he was using Mark's nickname for CJ, the evil one, or real evil. Evil is real. What a mess. Interesting, I think. Shout out to T-Fly Monkey, Age of Inversion. I've been negified by Mark, says evil is still real. Mark, he does not go free of, he gets a federal pardon, you moron. He says F''N, moron. He goes straight to state prison. There was no jury on the federal charges. You're dumb as they come, says CJ. And Commander Kim says Liberty was a spy ship who witnessed our greatest ally committing war crimes, allegedly. So they get okay from the White House and attacked Liberty. Oh, they got an okay from the White House and attacked Liberty with the intention of sinking it with no survivors, dead men tell, no tales nor truth. Interested. White Kyle kills 3 people in the same state, not guilty, says evil is still real. That's right. Shout out to Kyle, Jack Bauer, John Wick, Rittenhouse. Evil is still real. Says 5 years before Floyd, 14-year-old boy complained he could not breathe with Derek's knee on his back. 5-year conspiracy. With that keeps happening with only this officer. Yeah. So he might have been a problematic officer. Nice. Thank you, guys. Okay, so last time I didn't start this back up again, and it was really clumsy. So, I do have 1 minute for Manuel in California. Manuel, you have a minute. Go.
All right. So one thing the blacks did that is good. You ever heard of a reefer, the refrigeration truck?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
The ones that deliver with a refrigerant, you know.
Yeah.
So they can keep like produce cold and all that.
Yeah.
A black man invented that.
Shout out to the blacks.
Okay. If the blacks are smart, they claim to that because that's one of the greatest inventions to transport goods across the U.S.
Nice.
There's a bunch of other stuff I got to say too, but I already know cut off for time, so I'll let you get to your music. I appreciate you at least hitting me up and let me get that out there.
Right on, Manuel. Take care.
I'll call you tomorrow.
That sounds good. Bye.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. And unfortunately, David in Ocala, Florida, who's been on hold for over an hour. I've been on hold for an hour and I only get 2 minutes, or I get 6 minutes or whatever. Well, David in Ocala is on hold for more, and other callers too been on hold for quite some time. And some of them disconnected and some of them are still here. You guys are priority. Tomorrow, I guess, if there is a tomorrow. Peace in the Middle East, or at least in your hearts, if you seek it and pursue it. Bye, guys. No music. Take care. Joel Friday coming up next. Bye.